Do not adjust that dial. You are right exactly where you need to be. I'm Mr. Howe, and this is 6th grade arithmetic. Let's talk first of all about several of the things that we're going to talk about this year. First thing I want you to take a look at is your arithmetic book. Now, your arithmetic book is going to look just about like this, not quite as pretty as mine with the spiral binding, but your arithmetic book is going to look like this. Let's take a look at the first lesson that you have. The first lesson is going to have your name, which is the first thing that your on-site teacher will direct you to do, so put your name on it. You'll notice this block in the top. Every worksheet has that block that's going to tell you what you need to be aware of for that day's lesson. Now, several things we want to talk about, so if you'll take your book with me, please, and turn to page number 307. Page 307, you have what's known as supplementary exercises. Now, supplementary exercises mean exactly that. They are a supplement to what's going on. Suppose you want to get some extra practice. And so you would go to this part of the book, and it's laid out directly like we would lay it out in class. Addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and so forth. Let's take a look at the next page that I want to take a look at, which is on page 357. Page 357. Catherine, what's the first thing you notice about 357? They're homework. They're homework problems. What one thing did you notice about the homework problems? Isaiah, did I get it right? Isaiah? Do you notice the number? 6. The number 6. Now, what does that mean? What day is today? Lesson number 1. So that means we don't have homework for a whole week. Now, try to contain your disappointment. I know that you were wanting to have homework from the very start, but here's a couple. I believe that. Yeah, I really do. All right, now, notice, please, there's several things I want you to keep in mind. Those of you watching, get with your on-site teacher. They will tell you about this. But one of the things is that your homework problems are done on your sheet of paper. Homework problems are done on your sheet of paper, so make sure you're doing that on your sheet of paper. One of the things I want you to do, for example, this first one has 8 times 9, and everybody knows 8 times 9 is?
72.
When you're doing a homework problem, don't just put down that answer. Put down the entire statement. 8 times 9 equals?
72.
That way, it keeps me happy, and you want to keep me happy, trust me. All right, now, let's take a look at another page that I want to call your attention to, and that's on page 390. Page 390 is what's called the handbook. Now, what is a handbook about? Do you know what a handbook does?
A handbook teaches you
about hands. No, no, it doesn't. I'm just picking at you. What does a handbook tell you? Well, you know, my car is smarter than I am. Now, that doesn't take much, understand. But my car will let me know when it's time to change the oil. I mean, it says, dummy, change the oil in your car. And I have to remember how to reset the thing because it's based on mileage and things like. I have to remember how to reset that. And you know what I do? I go grab my handbook for my car. Now, believe it or not, that sucker is that thick. It is that thick. I remember the days when car manuals were about that thick. It's 4 sheets of paper. Put the key in, turn it on, put the gas on, go, you know. Put your foot on the other one, stop it, and that works. But the handbook tells you everything you need to know about 6th grade arithmetic and in the order that it's done. So that's important for you to do that. Well, let's take a look at several things that I want to get started. And you have, those of us here have already torn out lesson number 1. We're ready to go. We'll give you just a second or two for you to get ready to go. While we're getting ready for them to go, we're going to talk about some multiplication facts. Now, won't that be great? Because your mind has not thought in probably a couple months. And now all of a sudden, this mean guy comes in here and tells you got to get started on things. Let's go through some real simple ones. Let's talk about multiples of 2. What are multiples of 2? 2 times 0 is?
0.
2 ones are?
2.
2 twos are?
4.
2 threes are?
6.
2 fours are?
8.
2 fives are?
10.
2 sixes are?
12.
2 sevens are?
14. 14.
Those are multiples of 2. All right, let's talk about multiplication facts. Let's talk about the number 4, and let's go through our 7 multiplication tables with me together, okay? Ready? 7, no. Where am I? I'm talking about 4, okay? 4 zeros are 0. 4, oh, I'm not the only one speaking. Are you speaking with me? Pay attention here now. I want you folks here paying attention and speaking with me too. 4 zeros are 0. 4 ones. Do we need to practice that? 4 zeros are 0. 4 ones are
4 twos are 8. 4 threes are 12. 4 fours are 16. 4 fives are 20. 4 sixes are 24. 4 sevens are 28. 4 eights are 32. 4 nines are 36. 4 tens are 40. 4 elevens are 44. 4 twelves are 48.
Ryan, do you think we could do the same thing with 7? Multiply by 7. Can you? You can. But look around you. Do you think they can? Okay, let's try. 7 zeros are 0. 7 ones.
7 twos are 14. 7 threes are 21. 7 fours are 28. 7 fives are 35. 7 sixes are 42. 7 sevens are 49. 7 eights are 56. 7 nines are 63. 7 tens are 70. 7 elevens are 77. 7 twelves are 84.
Hey, not too shabby. Now, normally, at this time, what we would do is we would have what's called a speed test. So, speed drill. And your speed drill, your on-site teacher will get with you. That starts next lesson, because I don't want to overload you too much with everything that's going on today. All right, now, one of the things I want to talk about today is the 6 different processes of arithmetic. 6 different processes of arithmetic. Some of you brighter people, what's one of the processes of arithmetic? Are you thinking with me? Yes, ma'am, it's addition. Are you hanging with me?
Multiplication.
Multiplication. Division.
Subtraction.
Subtraction. I said there were 6. I've only heard 4. There's one in every crowd.
Fractions.
No. Good idea, though. But it's not fractions. Isaiah, you're chuckling over there. You got an answer for me? Now, those of you who were with me last time around in 5th grade arithmetic know this. Do you know why I know that? Because I know who your teacher was, and I know he taught it the first day of school. Notation and numeration. Notation. Does that ring a bell with you? Yeah, it does. Finally. Ring-a-ling. All right, so when we talk about notation, what is notation? Do you remember? Do you see the word in there, note? What do you do when you take a note? You write something down. Notation is the writing of large numbers. What about numeration? That's the other one. What's numeration? Do we have sound effects here where the crickets are chirping for those of you watching? No, numeration is the reading of large numbers, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Today we talk about place value. When we talk about place value, each of the places have a home. Now, do you remember back to kindergarten? Do you remember that far back? I don't. I do not remember back to kindergarten, because I never went. I was so bright, my mama called me Sonny, and she sent me right to 1st grade. But you know what I had the hardest trouble with, Catherine? The hardest problem I had with, are you ready for this? Arithmetic. I had a hard time with arithmetic. I had the hardest time making the numerals 4 and 8. I almost failed 1st grade because Mrs. Sanchez, who was my 1st grade teacher, she drove one of those little cars, those little tiny cars that you had to step outside to change your mind. That's the only thing I remember about that class, is that and having a difficult time with the number 4 and the number 8. Well, anyway, we were talking about place value. Now remember when you were in kindergarten and you had your little popsicle sticks, and you counted with your little green popsicle sticks, and 10 green popsicle sticks equaled a yellow popsicle stick. And don't look at me like that. You absolutely remember that. Every one of you did that. Don't give me this baloney. Absolutely you did. Well, today we talk about place value, and we talk about the houses that each of these belong in. We have ones, tens, hundreds, and thousands. Now, we've got some more that we talk about, and we call these groupings periods. Now, you know, we're familiar enough with the first ones, tens, and hundreds. We don't call them by their last name. Their last name is units. Say that with me, please. Units. Okay, that's their last name. Now, when we talk about units, we're familiar with them. Ones, tens, hundreds. You would not go around and call your best friend Joe Smith. You probably wouldn't call him Joseph Smith. That's probably his name. What do you call him? You call him Joe. Or something like that. You know, you may have a nickname for him. I have a dear friend of mine. We always called each other incognito. I don't know why we did that. Incognito means, you know, mysterious, like a spy. We weren't spies. But anyway, we called us, you know, and he was known as Groovy. I still call him Groovy. I don't know why we did that. We just did. But, you know, we're familiar with that. But, you know, 1,000s we're not that familiar with, so we call them by their first and their last name. 1,000s, 10,000s, 100,000s. Then we have 1 millions, 10 millions, and 100 millions. You have your worksheet out in front of you. I have today a card. What place value does the circled number 5 have in this one? 5,000. 5,000. Well, let's take a look real quickly at what I've got cooking on the overhead. This is arithmetic 6, and this is lesson number 1. All right, let's talk about, thank you, you may leave now. Let's talk about the place value that we want to talk about. I've got some numbers. Notice the number 2,539. What place value does the number 9 have? Place value for the number 9 is what place value? Ones is absolutely correct. How about 5 has what place value?
Hundreds.
Hundreds is absolutely correct. Let's take a look at another one. The number 5 has what value? Yes, sir?
Thousands.
5,000 is absolutely right. You're going to have to be louder because these people watching need to hear you. What place value does the number 4 have in the next one?
Thousands.
Thousands. 9. What place value?
Hundreds.
Hundreds is right. Let's talk about this number. The number 7 has what place value?
7,000.
7,000. That's the number I'm looking at. All right. What about the number 3 has what place value?
Hundreds.
Hundreds is absolutely correct. What do we call the combining of like numbers? We call that addition. Now notice today we want to talk about adding the numbers in this, and when we talk about addition, each of the lines in addition have a name. For example, the numbers we are adding are called addends. Say with me please, addends. Addends. A-D-D-E-N-D, addends. All right, what do we call the answer in arithmetic? Sum. S-U-M, sum. Now, that's important to me that you call them by their right names. Do you know why? You have a name. Don't you like people to call you by your name? Instead of saying, hey, you, or pointing at you all the time. You know, my son, his name is Adam. We thought about that name for a very long time before we named my son. Adam means lover of the good earth. Why I named him Adam, I don't know, but I mean, because he doesn't like to garden. He lives in a place now where they have gardeners that come and take care of the yard and things like that. But we thought about that. Adam, lover of the good earth. David, beloved of the Lord. And so we thought about those names that we wanted to give our children. When my daughter was born, we had the name for my daughter picked out while my wife and I were dating. before we were ever married, we had our daughter's name picked out. Now, I'm not going to tell you her name because some of you may know her, particularly if you had a younger brother or sister that was on a Becca video, because she's your lovely first grade teacher, perhaps. Now, anyway, what she was. She can't now be because you're in my class, so that it wouldn't work. Anyway, so when my daughter was born, they still had the name tag for my son as Baby Boy Hal. So at the clinic, at his pediatrician, he was known as Baby Boy. I said, you know, he has a name. Call him by that name, not Baby Boy. He was 3 years old. 3 years old. You know something? They issued him a new card. You know what it said? Adam David Howe. Huh? Which is important. So call them. My point is this. Call them by their names. Spell their names correctly. They like that. I like that. Don't just tell me, the answer is, tell me the sum. Okay? All right, now, let's talk about the answer, the sum. How would I go about doing this? First thing I want to do is I want to add up each column. Say, and you're going to add with me. 9 plus 4 is?
13.
Plus 7?
20.
Plus 2?
22.
Plus 0?
22.
22. Now, in 5th grade, you may have been used to carrying numbers. In 6th grade, we're going to break that habit. But it's the first day, so let's get by. We'll cheat a little bit. 2 plus 4 is?
6.
Plus 3 is?
9.
Plus 1 is?
10.
Plus 8 is?
18.
Plus 7 is?
25.
I just did that to see if you were paying attention. Carry 2. 2 plus 8?
10.
Plus 6?
16.
Plus 9?
25.
Plus 4?
29.
Plus 5?
34.
34, not 20. You're off just a little bit. Now, how would I check that? I would check by adding upwards. All right? Now, let's try another one. Let's try another problem, and let's see where we go with that. Clear all of these. Thank you. And let's try that. All right, I've got another problem. Let's add together. I have 1 plus 8 is?
9.
Plus 6?
15.
Plus 4?
19.
19. Carry 1. That's just 1. There's my 1. Okay. 1 plus 7?
8.
Plus 5?
13.
Plus 7?
20.
Plus 2?
22.
22. Carry 2. 2 plus 9?
11.
Plus 4?
15.
Plus 0?
20.
Plus 0 is 20. Plus 5 is 20. Go ahead and stay with me with each step. 2 plus 3 is?
5.
Plus 9.
14.
1.
15.
3.
23.
23. Carry 2. 2 plus 2?
4.
Plus 8?
12.
Plus 9?
13.
Plus 1, 13. I knew that. I was just seeing if you were paying attention. Plus 7 is?
20.
20. All right, now, we need to put some commas in there. Where are we going to put commas? We're going to count from the right, moving to the left. I've got ones, tens, hundreds, comma, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000. Well, right in front of you, you have today's lesson, so if you'll take that out, those of you watching should already have yours out. Those of us here are taking ours out as we speak. Notice I want you to write the place value for each of the red digits. Place value of each of the red digits. The first one is done for you. 5 has a place value of 500. What does 9 have a place value of? Yes, sir?
9,000.
9,000 is absolutely correct. 6 has a place value of what, Ryan?
6.
Just 6. We don't have to call it by its last name. What is its last name? Do you remember? Last name is Eunice. But we don't normally call it by its last name, but that's important to remember. Hint, hint, wink, wink. You may see that on a test somewhere. All right? The place value for the number 8 is?
800.
800 is right. How about the number 2?
20.
I got people talking, but I don't see hands. Catherine?
20.
20 is right. All right, now notice, there are green problems. What do the green problems mean? The green problems mean you don't need to do them unless you're waiting for me or your on-site teacher. All right, now section number 2, you're going to write the sums. Section number 3, you're going to add those. Now when you add those, I'm going to help you with 3A. You see it's got 3 lines on 3A. Everybody's jumping down to 3A right now. You've got 3 lines. What do you think I'm going to put on that first line? Add-in is absolutely correct. So you're going to put add-in on that. Can you spell add-in correctly? Oh, I love your penmanship too. This is math class. You don't have to have good penmanship in math class. Yes, you do, because I'll need to be able to read it. Add-in, And the final line is
Sum.
So you're already given your first answer. You're going to do 2, 3, 4, and we're going to check back with you in just about 5 minutes. So you're working on that for me, all right? Everybody stop what you're doing right now. Those of you watching too. You know what I forgot to do? Oral combinations. It's the first day of school. I'm allowed to forget some things, right? Yeah. Yes, exactly. Almost forgot to come in today, Isaiah. My wife said, "Are you going in to school?" I had to think a long time about that. I had to think probably longer than some of you folks did. All right, here we go. Now, for oral combinations, I need a prop. Those of you watching, I want you participating with me. Those of you here, I'm going to give you permission to turn sideways in your seat. Okay? So everybody's practiced, okay? Now, when you have the correct answer, I will read through the card. When I have read through the card, I will drop my hand when there's one more digit to go. When I drop my hand, give you the final digit, I will say equals, and then you can stand up. Okay? All right, we'll practice. All right, we ready? 47, 92, 19, 15 plus 9 equals. One person stood. Everybody should have stood on that one. Let's practice that again. Okay? 47, 92, 15 plus 5 equals. It's going to be a long season, I can tell you. All right, here we go. First one's for real now. All right. 7 plus 6 minus 9 equals. Right over here you said
4
is absolutely correct. Stop or keep going? Stop or keep going? Of course we're going to keep going. Yes, okay. Those of you watching, I want you participating too. 13 minus 7 plus 8 minus 3 equals. Yes, ma'am. 11 is absolutely correct. Stop or keep going. Here we go. 24 minus 17 plus 9 equals. And your answer was?
16.
That's what I had too, 16. 9 plus 9 minus 13 equals. And your answer was?
6.
Ooh. All God's children said? 5. 5 is absolutely correct. That's okay, that's okay. We all make mistakes. It's just some of us make more than others. 7 plus 6 plus 9 minus 12 equals. Yes, sir?
9.
You said?
10.
You said?
10.
10 is right. We are right now 3 for 5. That's 60%. How many of you would be happy with a 60%? Oh, that's not even, no, 60%. 3 for 5, yeah, 3 for 5 is 60%. How many of you would be happy with 60% on a no, I wouldn't be either. Okay, we got one more to do this. 100 minus 77. I'll let you conjugate a second. You still with me? Minus 16 equals.
$27.
Just 7, dear. Just 7. Oh well, we went 3 for 6. 50%. Hey, if you were playing baseball, that'd be pretty good. Winning half, you just got to win a little more than half, right? I want to take a look at my next sheet, and we want to talk about story problems. When we talk about story problems, there are 6 questions you should ask yourself. Number 1, what does the story problem tell us? Number 2, what does the story problem ask us? Number 3, are there any clue words or rules to help us solve the problem? Number 4, are there any missing facts? Number 5, are there any unnecessary numbers that you don't need? And finally, number 6, what process should we use to solve this problem? Well, let's take a look real quickly. Don't touch your dial yet, because I need to go backwards about 2 places, because I want to talk about this problem right here. And this problem we talk about, read the story problem with me, please, and I'm going to read it, Ryan, upside down. Let's see how well I do. At the 1996 Winter Olympic Games in Lillehammer, Norway, the United States received 6 gold medals, 5 silver medals, and 2 bronze medals. Find the total number of medals that the United States won or received. All right, now first of all, is that a lot of medals for the United States to win? Do you keep up with Olympics enough to know? That's not a lot. We don't do as well in Winter Olympics as we do in Summer Olympics, although we're improving. Now, with a name like Lillehammer, Norway, do you think the Norwegians did fairly well? Probably so. I honestly don't remember. You know, it wasn't before my time, but I just don't remember how well it was. All right, now notice they won 6 gold, 5 silver, 2 bronze. How many medals total? Well, first of all, what does the story problem tell us? It tells us about the Olympics. Number 2, what does it ask us? How many medals did they win? Are there any clue words? Total is a clue word. It tells us addition. Are there any unnecessary facts? It's the first day of school. Would you expect them to have unnecessary facts? No. Are there any things missing? It's the first day of school. No, there's nothing missing. What process are you going to use? Well, the only process you know, addition. You're going to add up the numbers, and your sum is going to be 13. Now let's take a look at the next story problem. The next story problem, Dr. Edwards posted, always looking for my remote. Dr. Edwards posted the student enrollment for each grade of Tyler Christian Academy as follows. First grade was 97, second grade was 82, third grade 84, fourth grade 78, fifth grade 75, sixth grade 69, seventh grade, junior high 156, and senior high 212. Now let's see if I can get my questions back up here. Are you there? Okay. First of all, what does the story problem tell us? What does the story problem tell us? Yes, ma'am?
many people were enrolled?
The enrollment of the school. The enrollment of the school, okay? What does the story problem ask us? This is a tough one. What does it ask us?
How many people did enroll?
How many people are there? Porter, are there any clue words?
What was the total enrollment?
Total. There's a clue word, okay? Are there any missing facts? No. Why?
It's the first day.
The first day of school. Exactly. Are we there yet? Are there any unnecessary numbers? No. It's the first day of school. What process should we use to solve the problem? Addition. It's the only thing you know to do. Okay? So I want you to do story problem B, story problem C, and I'm going to be around in just a bit to check on things. So I'm going to leave this up to keep you thinking of what you need to do. Those 6 steps. Anytime you have a story problem, that's what you should be doing. Let me get my wheelchair here. I love your formation of numbers. You keep doing it that well and you will be my hero. They are beautiful. Beauteous. Catherine, you doing well? Okay. Now, for those of you watching, we have a sheet of paper that we stick inside our math book every day that we take out, so we have that, so we can do story problems. A lot of times you can do your story problem right there on the worksheet. Sometimes you just run out of space. Use that sheet for that. Then when you've got it filled up, give it to your on-site teacher and they will tell you what they want to do with it, okay? So keep that in mind. We have it already out, so we're going to be doing that, okay? Now, did we come up with an answer? How many kids are in the school? I've heard from you way too much today. You said there were how many kids in the school?
843.
843 is so close. But you missed a couple somewhere. You missed a couple somewhere. How many did you say?
863.
You got too many. You said?
853.
853. 853 is absolutely correct. Let's take a look at the next one. Several students in Mr. Parker's class are members of a stamp collecting club. You know nowadays our stamps, you don't have to lick them anymore. You just peel them off and stick them. One of my children, who at this point will remain unnamed, got into my postage stamps when these self-stick ones first came out and thought they were stickers. Put them everywhere. And I had to go peel them off of everything so I could mail letters. Now it wouldn't bother me because I don't mail that many letters, but you know, it bothered me a lot then. All right, now, the members and the number of stamps each collected during the summer were posted on the class bulletin board. How many stamps did the club members collect in all? Your clue word there is in all, because it's going to tell you you're going to add, because that's the only thing you know to do, right? Okay. I know you know how to do other stuff, but technically you don't because I haven't taught it to you yet. Now, when you get finished with section number 5, go on to section number 6, where you have a review section, so we can work those problems as well. One of the things you want to make sure you don't do is put that foot in the aisle, because when I'm walking, I walk up and down the aisle and I never look. And trust me, it hurts a bunch when I fall on you. How many stamps did they collect in all? Isaiah, how many stamps?
385.
Last time you were short. Are you on top of it this time? What's your answer?
395.
395 is absolutely correct. Well, they tell me it's time that you have to get started and do things on your own. We will see you next time. But remember, while you're waiting for us, go ahead and finish this lesson.